journal, October, I forgot what the date is. I'm camping out. '16th. I'm not sure. I'll check that again later. Now I gotta put into words what I'm experiencing here. And part of this backstory that I just didn't intend to share, but is needed for this to be understood. I'll start off with how it is right now. In spite of how devastatingly dry it is, it's a perfect night to camp. The temperature is about 60 degrees. The full moon is up in the sky. I'm on a hillside populated by trees which I planted some 10-15 years ago by scattering pine tree seeds. So these pine trees around me average 5 feet apart, about 10 to 15 years old, most of them 10 years old. They are about 15 to 20 feet high. The moonlight, I tried to take a picture with my camera, but the lighting is too low. The way I see it with my night adjusted eyes, it makes it look like candlelight level of luminosity. So, lots of tree shadows. The trees are dark silhouettes to the moonlight, given a light glow to the ground and to the edges of the trees and the pine needles and branches. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. There's a light breeze. Some deciduous trees that are beginning to lose their autumn leaves are making the rustling in the background. I regret that I'm near a highway, so of course there's the sound of cars in the background. Owls have been active in this area, but they tend to get vocal in the middle of the night and early morning. Even though I'm facing the elements, my ancestral genetics are somewhat awake to this environment being more like home, more stimulating, even though it's harder by dealing with the elements physically. That there's less pollution of every kind, less human drama and madness and egocentricity. This is healthier for me. I get more exercise. It's better for my feet than all of the hard level surfaces in town. This is hard on my back because I don't have a chair with a back on it to lean back on. I built a foundation of stones, leveled it out as best I could, but it's still slightly slanted. I'm inside of a 4-man tent. I got that on top of this slab of stones. I did put a layer of dirt under it, as well as some foam padding, camping sleeping pads. That is really helpful on the rocks. You can hear the crickets chirping. This is a little sanctuary for the wildlife during this extreme September-October drought. There's still a little bit of water trickling down from the rocks, barely enough to be exposed for rabbits and birds to drink from. And it disappears into mud. There's two spots in this tiny little canyon with any moisture at all. The wildlife are congregating around it. It's gotten so dry and shallow water-wise that the deer hardly frequent this place. That doesn't sound right. The deer hardly visit this place because they can't get a decent drink. I took out a shovel, brought it out here, dug a 1-foot square hole to collect some of the water, which is about 6 inches deep. So that should help some. But it's like a short cup of water to one deer, and there's always more than one wandering around the water sources. So that other place that has a muddy area and some cattails, in the next few days I'll take my shovel out there and dig another hole to collect some water, dig out that mud. That is an act of consideration and a conservation state of mind. I don't want them all to die off. Deer, rabbits, there used to be mule deer out here. Now it's a few very skittish whitetails. And they weren't here before. Lots of birds. There used to be fox. I haven't heard or seen any sign of them the last 2 or 3 years. Just that tiny bit of human encroachment, a few buildings, commercial buildings up on the ridge, have just driven them out. I used to see turkey a lot more often, but their numbers are down and they're much more elusive. That is sad. I did get to enjoy, while taking out my camera to take a picture of a big field of milk vetch, I spooked a turkey hen and 7 little goblings. What's their word? I don't remember right now. It's my bedtime. Which is a poor excuse, I just don't remember. Turkey young. Adolescent turkeys. 7 of them. They're all hiding in the vetch. Later on, a lot of that vetch got eaten up, so it must have been some new fawns that I had seen about 2 months ago, a month ago. The vetch looked like it was eaten about a month ago. And that's after it produced flowers, and the flowers died. All the tops are gnawed off. That's got to be hard, to where the majority of the water you take in is just through moist plants. And again, their bodies are much more efficient with that. I will not say that they are comfortable. I'm pretty sure they aren't. But they're wise and fit. I really wish I could get a picture of my view of the inside of this young forest. It is the perfect low light mix of shadow and luminescence. Let me rephrase that. It's a perfect mix of scattered touches of luminous moonlight over shadows of trees and grass. I'm surprised to see so many rabbits around here. I suppose they're congregating. They usually have much broader territory per rabbit. Not much else to say about that. I can give a lot of minor, trivial points. But it's my bedtime. I just wanted to share about what it's like with the perfect temperature and view and cover. Just the way this forest looks. Never saw anything like it before. Not in pictures and not on other campouts I've done. The moon's got to be in the right position, totally full, and on the right night, on the right season, to really add that, what's a good word for that? For that experiential, exotic touch. Still not the right words. Oh well, can't always have the right words. It's a very soft atmosphere. Sorry about the poor lighting. Backstory, I was living out of a bad hotel for 11 months. Even though I make enough money to pay rent on an apartment, they made the requirements so goddamn high I couldn't afford it. So I lived out of a hotel, weekly rentals. This hotel, the Lazy U, got a new manager recently. Big black guy about my age, a little gray on the chin, like I am. My hypersensitivity is really in tune with this environment. Just heard something stirring. It's nice to have my sharp senses in a place to where it doesn't annoy, bother, or hurt me. It all has a touch of reality and purpose. Well, anyway, due to this guy's prejudice, I don't know if it was racial, but it was definitely political. Lied about the rules, put the squeeze on me, being super strict, like a python, trying to squeeze me out of all of my rights, forced me out. I've been meaning to leave sooner and camp out through spring, summer, autumn, to put all that money into the bank rather than paying these outrageous prices for living in a box which they call a room. There's been a lot of problems there, especially with the people who rent there. I don't want to talk about it. The human race, pardon my pop culture lingo, is a clusterfuck. Gotta call it what it is. It's a mess. Dysfunctional relationships, drugs, prostitutes, poor lighting, poor Wi-Fi, water outages, power outages, excessive prices. So in spite of the cinder block walls, It didn't really block very much noise at all. A little more than average, but not enough. God. Finding a decent place to live anymore is almost impossible. There's always somebody spoiling it. Well, time for me to turn in, switch my attention gears back to taking in this environment. Full moon night, light breezy, cool nighttime with illuminated shadowy woods. Besides, the rabbits won't start hopping around outside my tent until I be quiet and turn off my lights. And midnight or later, the owls. Alright, folks, this is an insignificant piece of my journalism. Scratch that. Alright, folks, that's my checking in and giving you a little journal piece of my life. I would enjoy more comments on my YouTube channel, The Time Sage. I live a very solitary life, and not by choice. I'm afraid I'm getting so used to it that my tolerance for normal social that my tolerance for normal social atmospheres is declining. Oh, that's another story. Anyway, I'll try to stay out here until the presidential election is done. If Donald Jackass Trump takes office, which is pretty much illegal because the Constitution has disqualified him from becoming president, the insurrectionist, criminal, traitor, Benedict Arnold bastard. I'll stay out here, find a deeper area in the woods to disappear into, live out the rest of my 1 or 2 decades left. But if Vice President Kamala Harris becomes president, then I'll try to tolerate what I can, stay in society, try to get a real home, and try to advance my career, my business. The common people, the citizenry, so many of them are stupid, naive, and egotistical. They're going to make it very hard for me, the way it's always been. The sensitive, thoughtful, and intelligent, benevolent me. Remember, folks, your ancestry and your connection with nature is in your genes. Don't allow that music to turn off inside of you. Visit nature, take care of nature. Don't invade it, don't mess it up. Enjoy it on its terms. Respect it. It'll make you more alive. It'll make you feel more existential. Wrong word again, but it's close enough. It'll make you feel more real. Sage Crystalman, signing off.